What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the DFS Dose YouTube channel. I'm Ben Harvard, joined as I always am by Joey Carrion. If you guys wouldn't mind, drop a like and subscribe to this video. Today, we are taking a look at Underdog Fantasy's new Snake Draft Weekly format, and we will get into that, the contest they're offering, and the strategies that we like to attack these drafts in a moment. But before we do, Joey, tell the people how they can support the channel.
You could support the channel by obviously subscribing to us, like Ben just said. Subscribe, like the video, comment who you think has the better team or your thoughts on Underdog snake drafts. And then if you're feeling generous, you can go over onto Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, wherever you listen to your podcast. The DFS Dose is there, so you can go ahead on those platforms, follow or subscribe depending on which one you use. And then you can check out the website. You can view Ben's detailed cash game breakdown that he just released on the DFSDose.com. So go ahead and check that out. But yeah, that is the best way to support us. And then obviously follow us on Twitter at the DFS Dose. We're still doing the giveaway, which ends tomorrow. Only a couple people have entered. So you have a very good chance at winning $50. So go ahead and retweet the pinned tweet on our Twitter, and that is the best way to support us.
Yeah. So let's take a look. This is the lobby right now for the games available on Underdog Fantasy. You got a bunch of different options, and these are all going to be snake drafts, right? So it's going to be like sort of a mix of DFS and a mix of weekly snake drafts. And, you know, you've got 6-person drafts, 10-person drafts, you got 2-person head-to-head style, and you got a bunch of different price points. I mean, they have all the way up to $1,000, as little as $3. And, you know, most of the payout structures are pretty standard. It's going to be paying out the top 10. I mean, there are, you know, obviously in the head-to-heads, it'll be like just sort of more like a double up. You know, you pay 100, win 180. Pretty standard payout structure there. The draft that Joey and I are about to take part in is this $10 10-person draft. Pays out the top 3 spots. First is $60, second is $20, and third is your money back, $10. So, Joey, talk about that format and the strategy, because like it isn't really a cash game, but it isn't a GPP either. You only need to beat 10 people. You want to be in the top 30%. Ideally, you want to be in the top 20%, finish in the top 2, and make a profit, not just get your money back.
Yeah, so with this format, I mean, like you said, it's not necessarily a cash game or a tournament, but you do have to finish in first place out of 10 entries. So that means you need to prioritize ceiling, you need to prioritize upside, and then obviously you should have done research on the specific slate to know, you know, what players have the best matchups, what players have higher ceilings for this week. Since there is no salary cap, you're just drafting, right? So with that being said, I'm personally looking at it more like a tournament because you do have to finish in first. So I'm going to prioritize stacking and getting as much upside in my lineup as possible, whether that be, you know, fading a pick that might have a safer floor. I'm going to take a guy that, you know, might see an increase in targets, like a guy like DJ Chark, over a guy, let's say, for example, Odell. Just because I think the Jags are going to be in a negative game script and passing a lot. And the Browns will as well, but then I also take matchup into consideration and also the other players in said offenses. So that's how I'm looking at it. Not as a cash game, as a tournament. I think that is the right strategy, personally.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, if it were a cash game, we'd be looking at something like a double up, right? And it's just not. Like, you don't want to finish with just a straight up safe lineup after the draft, because then you're going to be like expecting to finish somewhere between 4th and 6th, and that's not going to get you in the money. So I do think that it is closer to a GPP. I mean, if you're playing in a tournament, you're usually seeing the top 25, 22% being paid out, and that's very similar to this. So I definitely think that that is the type of strategy you should go into. Another thing that I think is pretty important is understanding positional scarcity. So for example, I think it's important to get quarterbacks with high ceilings and tight ends with high ceilings. This isn't like a salary cap DFS format where it's like, all right, I'm going to punt at tight end, play somebody like Chris Herndon, and then, that's okay that he doesn't have a ceiling because I can make up for it. Well, you're not playing 8 or 9 players. It's only 6 players. You want a ceiling at each and every single one. And, in a field of 10 guys, there's going to be 3 or 4 quarterbacks and tight ends respectively that are difference makers. So I'd be fine reaching on Lamar Jackson in a format like this, Russell Wilson in this week specifically, and at tight end, Kittle, Andrews, Ertz, I think are priority picks that you could look to make just to get an edge over your opponents.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all those points.
All right, Joey, let's not waste the people's time anymore, and we'll jump into this 10-person draft right now. All right, CMC obvious first pick, 1 running back, 1 flex, 2 receiver, 1 quarterback. 6 rounds, Joey. What you got?
You already know.
You already know the vibes. JJ. Yeah, I like that.
Had to scoop him.
Mm-hmm. So this does include the Sunday night game, which is interesting. Zeke Elliott went at the 3rd pick, which I think is solid. Doesn't include Monday. No Saquon, no James Conner.
1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 flex, right?
I mean, for me personally, I think that it's important to definitely stack in this, I think, because you have to beat 10 other players. Like, this isn't necessarily a cash game. It's not like a large field GPP either, but I mean, you do have to beat 10 people. So I think you want some correlation in this lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going to be looking to stack my 6 players that I'm drafting. Devontae's still on the board, though. Probably the best wide receiver play on the slate.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, no salary cap. I think you can make the argument that Mike Thomas is right in that same conversation, but I mean, Adams still such a phenomenal play this week. Julio off the board. No shot to Devontae Adams. Oh, see, I knew it. It would have been too good to be true. I will say, though, I will lock up Joe Mixon in my flex in a heartbeat right now if I could get him here.
Yeah, that'd probably be the best option for you. I don't think. Oh, George Kittle. Okay. He might fall to you.
I mean, I definitely think there's a solid reason to take Ertz, Kittle, and Andrews in a format like this. Like, it just gives you such a huge edge, but I mean, there's some decent mid-range tight ends that I like too this week. Damn, see, I'm getting sniped left and right now. Kamara went right ahead. Oh, man. Well, I think I'll take Mark Andrews there. Highest team total on the week. Browns just definitely don't have the linebackers or safeties to cover Andrews. And, right off rip, that's an advantage. Chris Godwin was in consideration there, though. I mean, he goes right after.
Yeah, Miles Sanders would have been gone if he was healthy.
Oh, yeah.
He's still on the board, coming out to me. Don't think I could take him.
So is Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, no chance. No chance. I mean, with this pick, I'm considering a wide receiver or Zach Ertz. I like Thielen a lot.
It is half-point PPR, don't forget.
I like Thielen a lot. I like A-Rob a lot with some touchdown upside. In Chicago, it's hard to pass up on Terry McLaurin, but I feel like he's a better PPR play than half PPR. Man, I don't know. This is tough. I could go with Miles Sanders and hope that he's not limited. That'd be kind of risky. You know what? sometimes in life you got to take risks. So I'll take Sanders.
That's fair. I mean, at this point, you're getting to like the point where it's like the value offsets the risk, I think. Like if you took him in the first round, that'd be questionable. But I mean, what, 2.9? So talking about like 19th player.
Yeah, a player with a lot of receiving upside and a potential good volume for this week, although he probably will be limited on Sunday.
If Washington can keep the game close, then he will probably see more snaps. If they start blowing Washington out, I bet Corey Clement and Boston Scott see a lot more work.
See, now I'm going to take a wide receiver here, secure my wide receiver 1, and I'm really only considering Allen Robinson, Thielen, or Terry McLaurin right now. But I think Allen Robinson is the best wide receiver available besides D-Hop, so I'm gonna go with him.
And we talked about it on the podcast that just this Lions defense is not going to be able to get pressure, and I love that pick. Honestly, I think that Jeff Okudah is going to be a great running back eventually, but it's going to be really hard for him to go and face Allen Robinson. See, I'm really torn right here. I would take Adam Thielen, but I've already got Dalvin Cook, and I don't love that correlation, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Terry McLaurin here as my wide receiver.
Great pick. He's going to see like 200 targets in week 1, so.
Thielen goes right after. I mean, Thielen would have been a good pick there, too. I don't know. I didn't really want too much exposure to that game. Not crazy about that game outside of Adams and Cook. See, with only 6 rounds, you gotta get your stacks in there quick, I feel like. Nick Chubb is still available. Definitely a great pick here, but just tough to see him really succeeding in this matchup, I think, with the Browns projected to, really struggle in this game. Kareem Hunt's probably going to be taking a lot of the passing game work as they try and work themselves back into contention with the Ravens. But there he goes, 4.1.
Good pick in the 4th round of this draft. I mean, if the Browns can control the clock and keep Lamar Jackson off the field, Nick Chubb's going to be a big part of that. And I think that's probably their game plan to try and beat the Ravens tomorrow. So I love that. I love that pick.
I went with Josh Allen there, and, I took a tight end and a quarterback with, 2 of my top 4 picks. And I just, in a format like this, I want to get that upside at the 2 onesie positions. And it sets me up to take Diggs eventually, or even John Brown with my last pick if Diggs goes before I'm able to get him.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen has one of the highest ceilings out of any quarterback on this week 1 slate, so I love him a lot. Right. Yeah. Could go with my second wide receiver. I like DJ Chark this week against Indianapolis, and the Jags should be in a negative game script for the entire game, so expect them to pass a lot. So I'm going to take DJ Chark as my wide receiver 2, and as Minshew's wide receiver 1 and probably the best player on the entire Jaguars offense, I think he's going to be a focal point and should snap against the Colts secondary, who really don't have elite players. So right here I'm going to look to take my first tight end, and then I can grab a quarterback on my way back, or I could go quarterback right here and wait on a tight end. So I mean, I have Allen Robinson and DJ Chark, so not really good stacking options. But, I'm going to take a tight end that I missed my pick. Solid.
Nice. Drew Brees. It's a vibe.
Yeah, my timer's messed up once again, so don't know what the deal with that is, but...
Your timer? Oh, man, Underdog.
I mean, I clicked Hayden Hurst with like 4 seconds left, and it said you missed your pick, and then the name didn't even pop up. Well, Drew Brees, oh well. I mean, I would have rather had like 4 other quarterbacks above him, but
I mean, we've done like at least 4 or 5 of these videos. I don't think you've gone a single one of them without being auto-picked. It's developing into a real tradition. Robert Woods was a value for sure there in the 5th round. I mean, all the Cowboys receivers are still out there. Cooper, Gallup, like even CD is pretty interesting. But I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs here. Just, if Josh Allen is the quarterback that can beat these 10 other players, I think there's a good chance that Diggs snaps in this game. So easy correlation there.
Yep, for sure. 10 picks away from me.
See, the thing is I feel like if you missed on getting 2 running backs early, the best bet at this point is going to be using a receiver in the flex, because the running backs that are available are just, I mean, if you want to take a shot on one of the indie guys, Taylor or Mack, you could do that, but that's pretty risky in my opinion. And there's really nothing left outside of that. Tariq Cohen, Kareem Hunt, not in half-point PPR. Antonio Gibson, not with real American dollars on the line.
The running backs are definitely very thin right now, so hopefully a solid tight end falls to me, preferably TJ Hawkinson, but I don't think he'll last 7 picks. Yep, he just went.
Yep, spoke it into existence. I mean, I really do like Higbee a lot this week. We haven't talked about it because, we mostly just have focused on main slate, the first 12 games type of stuff, but I mean, Higbee, I think, has some upside in this game that could be a massive shootout.
Yeah, I like Higbee a lot. So I would take him if he falls to me, and it looks like that he will, unless the 2 people in front of me take him who currently don't have tight ends. So that's a very real possibility, but if he falls to me, I'll probably grab him. But if not, I'm looking to grab a guy like Chris Herndon, where I project the Jets to be passing a lot this week against the Bills. So I like Chris Herndon a lot. And then Rob Gronkowski could be a quietly good play if Mike Evans were to miss with his hamstring injury. So, I mean,
Higbee goes. I took Hilton with my last pick. I mean, in the 6th round, T.Y. Hilton, I think he has a ton of upside against a pretty depleted Jacksonville secondary.
Yeah, I like T.Y. Hilton. And like I said, I'm going to take a tight end here. Just trying to figure out which tight end to take. Either Gronk or Herndon. I think Gronk has a better matchup.
5 seconds, just so you know.
Yep. You know what? I'll go with my son, Gronkowski.
Putting your money where your mouth is. Odell Beckham goes undrafted. That's interesting. Gesicki goes undrafted. Hollywood Brown goes undrafted. And that's really the only thing that stand out to me. Everybody else that I feel like should have been drafted did get drafted. So, relatively sharp. I mean, there are some tight ends I'd have definitely taken ahead of Jared Cook and Gronk, but I know you like Gronk. And with Evans out, I think that's pretty reasonable. So
Odell went with the last pick.
Did he? Okay. Yep. So, let's see here. I'll show our 2 teams here up on the screen. So my team, I've got Josh Allen, Dalvin Cook, Terry McLaurin, Stephon Diggs, T.Y. Hilton, and Mark Andrews. That's pretty solid in my opinion. I think Andrews is a top 2 tight end on the slate, especially in half point where the touchdown upside gives him a strong edge over Zach Ertz. Allen to Diggs, I mean, you could check out a video on this YouTube channel where I talk about my cash game plays for this week. I'm super bullish on Allen's floor and his ceiling this week against a terrible Jets team. So I love that. Love being able to get the stack off. Terry McLaurin, I mean, come on, one of the best pure plays on the slate. Should get a ton of targets in a good matchup as well. Dalvin Cook, wouldn't have been my top choice, honestly, in the first round, but at the 6th spot, I mean, dude just signed a massive extension. I think that, removes any worries anybody might have had about Alexander Mattison eating into his role. And I mean, just phenomenal workload for Dalvin Cook. So, yeah, that is my team. And then I'll flip over to Joey's team here on the screen, which you can see. Joey, you want to talk about your team here?
Yeah, I mean, I like my team besides my quarterback and tight end. I like securing a solid workload with Josh Jacobs going up against one of the worst run defenses in the NFL that should be even worse this year. And then Miles Sanders is a young player that, everybody in the fantasy community has been high on, but he's going into this game with a low body injury, a soft tissue injury, which is obviously concerning with him being a running back. But at 2.9, I was willing to take the risk. Allen Robinson, DJ Chark, I feel like those are two high upside wide receivers who have access to their ceilings in their respective matchups. And then I got auto drafted Drew Brees, so a standard auto draft out of me every single draft. Didn't want Drew Brees, but the Saints and Tampa Bay game could be a potential shootout, so I have that working in my favor at least. And then I got another piece of that game with Rob Gronkowski, like I said a couple minutes ago, with Mike Evans potentially being out. He could be one of the best tight end plays on the slate, as him and Brady have known chemistry, and I think they'll use him as a red zone threat. So a lot of touchdown upside with Gronk, but all in all, I mean, I like my team, but I'm not too high on it. So that's just my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The thing is like, it would have been really hard for you to stack anyways, unless you were willing to take Minshew, which, I mean, as a top 10 option, I don't know about that. I mean, if you're just going balls to the wall for the stack, I guess it makes sense, but you're not going to like pick Trubisky as a top 10 QB either. So, with those two wide receivers, it would have been pretty difficult to stack, I think. But yeah, I mean, I guess that'll be it for this Underdog video, guys. Thank you for watching. Like Joey said at the top of the show, you can, subscribe to us on any major podcast platform. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do have a giveaway going. We do have a giveaway going on right now, which Joey also detailed at the top of the show. And yeah, guys, if you like this Underdog format, comment below. Tell us which of the two teams that we drafted you like more. And yeah, we'll be back with a ton of content on this YouTube channel every single week of the NFL season. Super looking forward to getting that out to you guys. So thanks for watching.